Good afternoon, traders and investors. Will back here with another one. Hope everybody had a beautiful Labor Day weekend. I definitely did. I wanted to apologize, guys. I was supposed to put up the SPGI and MSCI video over the weekend. However, I got called away by a few friends up to a cottage up north here in Canada. So I had a beautiful time. I hope you guys forgive me for that. Anyways, let's move on to our stocks today here, guys. You can see that it was a bit of a red day here on our indexes. And by the way, that video I will be putting up in the next few days, so stay tuned for it. Just got to film it. It's all put together with all the research and all that. Just got to get around to filming it. On the indexes here, guys, you can see that it was a bit of a red day, especially in our IWM. But within our technology sector, we did have some good rotation with a lot of technology stocks putting in some higher highs. Namely, Tesla had some good recovery, AMD and Microsoft coming back here. So we're going to take a look at, obviously, our major indexes for the day. We'll take a look at our major technology stocks. And lastly, we are going to take a look at my portfolio. New week, new positions. You guys know the drill. So looking at here on SPY, what happened today? Well, the heat map here, you guys can see that it was a fairly red day overall, with some of our major tech names pretty much leading QQQ to the green, but everything else to the downside, unfortunately. So a little bit of a rotation down here across the market. Not too bad of a negative day, but financials and healthcare did play a big part in that. On the one-day relative, guys, you can see here as well that most of our major indexes, just as on the heat map, were definitely red, except for technology and energy here. So a bit of a pullback day on the markets as a whole, but it did provide some good opportunities here to find some stocks for the put wheel that I run. So SPY, without further ado here, guys, it's going to be a short video. No earnings really this week and no real big macro events either. So should be pretty much a easy week for the markets nonetheless. Now, SPY, what were we looking for here? Daily uptrend here, starting to pull back here. So tons of space here, still above 435.50, pretty much this low right here. Just looking for a pullback, guys. Keep an eye on your moving averages, quickly approaching here, right? So this chart looking very, very healthy, guys. As you know, on the weekly, we have put in a decent amount of move against this most recent downtrend here. So we are now going to be looking, guys, can the bulls keep this move down here shallow and start resuming here our daily uptrend, right? Daily uptrend is confirmed. We just need the bulls to keep going at it here. Or if ever they lose the daily uptrend and set potentially a daily downtrend, then it will be once again in weekly consolidation here, and we'll see how well the bulls can play defense. But I like the size of the move, guys, here, so I'm fairly optimistic on their capacity to keep the markets up, especially with no real negative macro here in the near-term future. Now, looking at QQQ with one of our better days here, but still lower than pretty much the high on Friday, not able to put in a higher high. So QQQ also somewhat in pullback mode, guys. Target these moving averages right down here around the 371 pocket. Still tons of space above 359 low, right? So just looking for the continuation of our daily uptrend here. And on the weekly move, you guys can see that I'm really pleased on the size of this move on QQQ here. So if the bulls can keep the daily uptrend alive here, well, then no problem. We're just going to keep recapturing more and more of this downswing, right? But if for ever which reason we somehow lose this daily uptrend, forms a daily downtrend, then the bulls will have to play defense really and save this low down here of around 354, right? So we're going to take this one day at a time, but inevitably we were looking for just the continuation of the daily downtrend. So we're going to look at the size of this pullback, but fairly healthy overall. What I don't like though is the next two, XLF and XLV. Well, XLF not looking too bad, but XLF, what we're looking for, we were just looking for the bulls to eventually set the daily higher low to confirm the daily uptrend, something that they haven't done as opposed to SPY and QQQ, right? So anything above 3360 is just going to be looking for your daily higher low. Currently playing defense on the moving averages here, not able to crack them on the day, but fairly negative day on financials, guys. You can see that our regional banks are the aggressors, once again putting in over 2.25% worth of a down day. Regional banks having a very difficult time, guys, ever since March, right? So it's normal that they were able to drag our financials down quite some bit. We're going to be looking for the daily higher low for potentially future continuation here. On the weekly as well, weekly taking back a decent amount of last week's gains in one single day, pretty much. Anything above 3260, however, right? We were just looking for the weekly higher low, got it. Now, are the bulls going to tighten up here and accumulate at this range above our little pocket here, our little 3390 to 3350 area? Or can the bulls get it done and push to higher highs here and really get our weekly upswing continuing to go closer and closer to our 35, 36 area of resistance? So we'll keep an eye on that, but we were definitely looking for this need to see the size of the pullback. And if the bulls can set the daily uptrend here, XLV Healthcare. XLV Healthcare, don't like it, guys. We're flirting with disaster here. 132 pretty much. We didn't get as low as that today, right? We got as low as 132.19, but really flirting with disaster. We have the 200 MA down here at the 132 mark, and this whole area here as well is kind of like a range, right? So it will be acting as some form of support. I apologize for not being able to draw straight lines. That's my bad. But still, you guys get the idea, right? So the 132 zone here is absolutely crucial. We were looking for this tightening range to continue to tighten up. But when you get such a negative day, 1% down day, guys, and especially ever since Biden's speech that he was cracking down on healthcare premiums, on big pharma premiums last week, guys, healthcare has been in a bit of a rut here. But overall picture is not so gloomy here. We're still looking out for the weekly tightening range. Still haven't lost it. We'll see how the next few days play out here. Still have a decent amount of space, guys. 129 is really the line in the sand level for me. Really would not want to see the bears come all the way down here and flush this, right? It would just really ruin our pattern. But as I was showing you guys on the monthly last Friday, guys, monthly is still looking fairly healthy here, guys, in terms of the monthly tightening range. So even if we do pull back towards this 128 area, there is still some good support down there. So we'll take this one day at a time, but don't like the fact that we're potentially losing this tightening range that the bulls have been able to maintain here over the better part of the last month and a bit. IWM Russell pulling back hard today, 2.11%. That was mostly responsible because of our small and medium regional banks, right? Financials representing a decent weight in IWM. So some of their growth stocks here, tech growth stocks, were doing fairly all right today. However, it's really the regional banks that started pulling us back. So what are we looking for here, guys? Anything above 181.60, just looking for the daily higher low for potential continuation to the upside of this daily uptrend. Bulls still have not set the daily uptrend as opposed to SPY and QQQ, just as our financial sector hasn't either, right? So we're looking out for that. I do like the amount of space that there's created, but a few more of these 2% days, guys, and we could be in trouble here on our growth names. On the weekly here as well, on the weekly, what we were looking for, we got the weekly higher low a few weeks ago, right? Down here at 182. Now we were looking for how high can the bulls push? So I'm still giving the bulls the benefit of the doubt here because they've created so much space on the daily to get this daily trend change going, provided SPY and QQQ don't drop too much on this daily consolidation here, right? So IWM still with a chance, but bulls need to get it done, guys. Obviously, if we pull back too much of this move, it's not going to look very good. And if ever we do roll over on these indexes for any which reason, IWM and XLF specifically, guys, once again, we'll be targeting our 180 pocket of support all the way down here. Won't look too good though, guys, because this could be interpreted somewhat as a head and shoulders pattern. But obviously, we've been in this massive range here, guys, for the better part of the last 3 months at this point. So it needs to start breaking a certain way, guys. Need to start getting the juice going in some of these smaller cap names, especially financials. Dow Jones and financials earnings still around 3 to 4 weeks away, right? So can't really have any saving grace from them. Dow Jones here. Dow Jones, one of our other losers on the day here today, minus 0.56% on the day here. What are we looking for? Bulls created enough space to be looking for the daily higher low for the daily trend change. Still have not set the daily trend change. So common theme here, guys. You can see XLF, XLV, IWM, and the Dow Jones have not set the daily trend change, similar to SPY and QQQ. So these indexes are lagging behind. Now, are they going to drag SPY and QQQ lower? Or are they going to be able to turn around? That is going to be the major question here. Now, Dow Jones still looking for the higher low here for the daily trend change continuation. Tons of support down here, guys. However, we are coming back to our 34,500, 600 area of support here. So I do believe that the bulls will be able to put a good amount of defense here. We are potentially playing with our moving averages here as well. On the weekly, what are we looking for on the weekly? Still just looking for a weekly continuation to the upside. Weekly uptrend at this point is maintained, but you don't want to see the bulls flush this low down here, guys. If we flush 34,000, right, this is going to be a weekly confirmed downtrend, and it's really going to kind of destroy all the work that the bulls have put in this entire way pretty much since March, right? So I still do believe in our value stocks, as I was showcasing last Friday with the monthly closes, but just on the short term, guys, we are looking for this pullback. This pullback was inevitable to set the daily trend change. So I'm going to be very curious to see how the market plays out over the next few days. Now, Bitcoin doing absolutely nothing. It seems as though every day I pull up this chart, I say it's doing absolutely nothing. It's normal, guys. On the weekly, look, we just have no volume whatsoever, right? So Bitcoin doing absolutely nothing, guys. Still trending lower here slightly, right? Line in the sand level remains put at 24,700, which is your monthly higher low area. So really cannot lose that. The bulls need to put in a lot of work to start a new daily trend change, and also a potential new weekly uptrend as well, right? So gonna keep an eye on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin just out of favor now. I don't really like crypto as it stands. I assume it's not a bad time to accumulate if you do believe in crypto and you're in it for the next few years. But however, it's just not looking good in the short term for me. Now let's move on to big tech, yeah? So big tech, Apple putting in a fairly decent day, guys, today. Apple opened lower and was able to close somewhat near the high of the day today in positive territory, almost at 190. So daily bounce continues on Apple. Tons of space at this point above 176. Anything above 1 cent, once this move tops out, anything above 176, just looking for your daily higher low for potential daily trend continuation here, guys. So I really like Apple. Apple bulls have put in a lot of work. If we do pull back, guys, target this little pocket here, 184, for your potential area of support where the bulls are going to step in. Your weekly move is seemingly still going here, right? So I really like at this point how much of this move the bulls have taken back really leads up for the capacity to either two-step this, right, set the new weekly uptrend, or just V-shape this and continue our existing weekly uptrend as it is, right? So congratulations to Apple bulls. No red flags for me at this point. AMD, great day of recovery. Actually, AMD CEO was talking to media today, addressing a number of concerns and addressing their future guidance, and they gave pretty much nothing but positive commentary here. So I did listen in for a bit during the day for roughly 15 minutes and really was able to get a good idea here on where AMD is going. And AMD really did some great job here today, intraday recovery, guys. You can see they opened the morning pretty much coming as low as 106.50 and moving all the way back up past 111. So very good job by the bulls. We've now recaptured this entire move after NVIDIA earnings. So really engulfing the move, guys. Once AMD does pull back, we are going to be looking for the daily trend change. At this point, anything above 99.70 is just going to be for a daily higher low for potential daily trend change continuation here. I really like the fact we're trading above our moving averages. We're trading above our 107 support as well. So AMD, one of our prime candidates in technology here to play a little bit of catch up here. I'll remind you, AMD on the weekly still representing some very decent risk reward. Below our 52-week highs, we are now 16.5%. And below our all-time highs, guys, we are still 33% off of all-time highs, right? So really good risk reward on AMD. I'll reiterate, it's my favorite semiconductor play, and it is looking good now in the short term. Bulls are starting to really want to reverse these downswings here. I do need, however, to be more comfortable on AMD here to reverse the weekly, right? So it's weekly downtrend currently. Need the bulls to get as close as possible to the higher end of this range around 120 here, really give themselves the space to maintain this move here and change the weekly trend change. But congratulations to the bulls if AMD does pull back over the course of this week. Missed it on the morning, unfortunately, but if we do pull back here, I am definitely going to be writing some puts, going to try to be finding them in the 105, 104 area. Amazon also pulling back on the day. So a couple of technology stocks did pull back here on the day, but they were counterbalanced with a few others here. So good intra-sector rotation by technology. At this point, Amazon, anything above 130.5 is just going to be for your daily higher low for potential continuation. Daily uptrend was set last week, right? So now we're just looking for a pullback, sit, and then potentially move higher here on Amazon, right? So good moving averages as support, this whole horizontal area of support as well. So we're going to take this one day at a time on Amazon. But if we do keep continuing with this daily uptrend, your resistance stays put here around the 143 area and as high as 105 after. No red flags on Amazon. Weekly uptrend is full in control on Amazon. So we're going to give the bulls a little bit of space, a little bit of time to do their thing here, but should be provided with some good area of support in this pocket here. Not really any red flags on Amazon either. Now let's move down to Google. Google here with a fairly muted day here, flat on the day, but not able to crush Friday's high here. So Google as well, you can argue on a slight pullback. No red flags on Google, guys. Daily uptrend, we're just looking for a daily higher low for further continuation. Anything above 128 is just going to be for a daily higher low, right? So target this first 12 EMA down here, 134. It also coincides with your horizontal level of support, which was previous resistance. So no red flags on Google weekly looking very, very, very healthy. So even if we do pull back here on the week on Google, tons of space to work with. Your weekly higher low is also 128. So keep that in mind, guys. If we do pull back, it'll be to set the weekly higher low, potential weekly bull flag, and the daily higher low as well. So to be able to really get two things done at the same time here, but no red flags on Google. Once this move does bottom out and we get the daily trend change continuation, potentially, we are looking at 145 area, guys, of resistance, this little area right here. So no red flags on Google, fairly decent day on Google. Even though they dropped, like to see them not drop in a big fashion, especially with how some of our indexes dropped today. Meta finally setting the daily trend change. It's soft, but you got to give it to them. They set the daily trend change now, guys. So daily bulls are in control of this move. Obviously, it's not a very powerful move here. It took them a long time to reverse this one little candle right here, but playing some good defense around the moving averages. So very, very pleased on how Meta's been able to recover this move. I was kind of nervous for them when they were putting in these 3 days, but able to get it done here today. So daily uptrend is confirmed now. Any pullback at this point is just going to be for a higher low. Anything pretty much above 277 is going to be that higher low. We have our moving averages. We have our horizontal level of support down here at 287.50. So some decent little support to go off of if ever we need to pull back and potentially set another leg higher here. Not quite satisfied with how much of this move Meta bulls have taken back, but they're just grinding higher at this point on the weekly, defending the 12 EMA very well. So we're going to give the bulls some time and some space to work with here, but it's good to see that Meta finally able to confirm this daily trend change. But out of all our technology stocks, out of all the bounces, guys, Meta is kind of the weakest bounce here. So some could argue that this is just a weekly bear flag for potential continuation of the downside. We will see how that plays out, but as long as these names are in daily uptrends, I can't say that your weekly lower highs are set and then it's going to be the bear turns, right? You need to see, for it to be the bear's turns, you need to see daily downtrend confirmed. Then I can say, okay, this was your weekly lower high, and then we're going to potentially look for how hard the bears are going to continue down, if they double bottom or flush. But as of now, guys, no real red flags, just a bit of a soft move. Microsoft finally setting the daily uptrend here, cracking our 333 level, previous resistance here, right? That was the area that for the past week and a bit, I've been complaining that Microsoft bulls have not been able to get over. We have now got over it today, over the moving averages as well. You can see that right here, right? So Microsoft bulls in a daily uptrend, anything now above 319 is just going to be for a daily higher low. Decent little moving averages as support down here. And Microsoft, kind of like Meta, don't like how much of this move the bulls have taken back so far in relation to SPY or QQ, but we will let them grind higher, right? So as long as we are in a daily uptrend, your weekly upswing continues. Need to see how much of this move, once the daily uptrend finishes, we will see how much of this move the bulls have taken back. I would like them to see them take back at least 50%, guys. And for now, they are just not there yet, right? So as of now, we're only taking back around 38%. I would like to see them get as high as about $340 to really be safe that if ever the daily trend tops out around our 340 area here, that the bulls have enough space to pull back, set a new weekly uptrend. It is currently still a weekly uptrend, but this is a fairly decent move, right? So if they can't V-shape this, at least we'll have enough space to potentially say that they can maybe two-step this and set a new weekly uptrend. But congratulations on the short-term Microsoft bulls putting in some decent work. NVIDIA pulling back here a bit on the day, a bit flat, you know, in relation to Friday's close, but still not that bad of a negative day here. So NVIDIA still consolidating at the highs here. Daily uptrend, and now we are kind of in consolidation mode. I was pointing this out in the last few videos. NVIDIA can do this. It can consolidate at the highs here, push higher high, consolidate, and then boom, right? So it can do this. It seems that it is playing into that pattern again. So one thing is crucial here. Are we going to flush 450? Or are we going to move higher than 503, right? It's kind of trapped in this little zone here. So we're going to give the NVIDIA bulls some time to kind of accumulate in this range here. I like how little of this move NVIDIA's given back so far. The market's had a few red days, but NVIDIA bulls not giving back that much. So I really love to see it. But now we are kind of trapped in this kind of accumulation range. What we have playing out for us is that we are dealing here with a level of previous support, right? So this previous all-time high support is kind of playing into action here, right? This whole level right here, and we do have the moving average, so we'll provide some good support. NVIDIA, no red flags on the weekly either, right, guys? So weekly uptrend is more than confirmed here, and any pullback is definitely going to be for a higher low, anything above pretty much 404. So bulls with tons of space to work with in the event that we do have a further pullback here, somewhat of a daily downtrend. We will just be looking for weekly consolidation for a potential move higher on NVIDIA. So no red flags on NVIDIA either as of yet, guys. These charts are very simple. Going to give the bulls some time to work their magic here and power through. Tesla, beautiful day of recovery, guys. Friday's video, couldn't have filmed it at a more perfect time, right? This whole FUD candle has now been recaptured as people have come to their senses in terms of what Tesla is doing with that news. So very, very decent recovery day here on Tesla. You can see daily uptrend is now maintained. Your higher low at this point, guys, can be argued that is set now. Pretty much your 242 is your daily higher low, right, for this future move here. So nice daily uptrend continuation, really reacting well at our support zone here and at our moving averages here. So we are going to be looking for Tesla to maintain the move higher. Need to see a break at this point of 261 to make that happen. And on the weekly is looking fairly decent, guys, right? So bulls still with a lot of work to reset a new weekly uptrend. We're going to give them the space until this daily uptrend is not topped out. We cannot say that this weekly bounce is finished, but I do like the size of the bounce so far, guys. From this bear move down, we have now recaptured over 50%, which really gives us some confidence in saying that the bulls have a good chance of resetting for a weekly uptrend here whenever this daily uptrend potentially tops out, right? So we'll see how high the bulls can get, but definitely some resistance up here in the 270 zone. So if I had to put money on it, this is where I would say that potentially Tesla bulls will struggle in the near term future. But very good move on Tesla today. And lastly, Palantir and PayPal. Palantir here. Palantir, a bit of a muted day here today and Friday here. So what are we trying to do, guys? Daily uptrend. We're looking for the daily higher lows, right? Anything above pretty much 14 was just going to be looking for a daily higher low. The bulls playing great defense in this area. Now I need to see them start pushing into this area 1641 to really continue this daily uptrend. Why? Because I'm not satisfied with how much of this weekly move down we've taken back so far. You can see that Palantir, out of all our names, one of our weakest names in terms of bounces, guys, have barely taken back 38% of the move, similar to pretty much Meta, right? So haven't really taken back much of the move and really don't like this kind of candle formation down here. Really kind of you could tend to say that this could set up for a weekly bear flag for future continuation. But even on that, even on the monthly, as I was saying, guys, tons of space on the monthly if ever they want to do that. We'll take this one day at a time, however, but now, crucial area, guys. Definitely do not want to see a comeback down here to 14. That would be pretty bad for our bulls losing this entire move up. So really need to see them in the next few days power through, put in a higher high, 1635, and really start taking back more of this weekly move to give me more confidence here that the Palantir bulls are going to be able to reset the weekly uptrend. They didn't quite lose it, but they really engulfed the entire move, right? So now, in my opinion, it's going to be a two-step process to regaining the weekly uptrend. PayPal continuing its little grind higher. This is what PayPal does. It really just grinds higher, 0.5%, 1% per day, right? So today was no different. Bulls putting in a decent amount of space here. Daily uptrend is continuing. Anything above $60 still is just going to be whenever this move tops out for a daily higher low. So decent amount of space here on PayPal, about $3.75 to work with here. And now above your 12 EMA. So daily bulls are in full control now. We have engulfed this entire move. So you really like to see that. Some good little momentum here on PayPal. Don't expect some 6 to 8% days without news. This stock is not AMD or NVIDIA. It just doesn't move that way anymore. Haven't seen it move that way in over a year and a half. On the weekly, we are just looking for the two-step process. Just like back here after earnings, weekly need the weekly bulls to come up as much as possible, set the weekly uptrend in motion here and start recapturing most of this earnings move. So this week, I would really like to see PayPal bulls, if they can, pull up in the 65, 66 area here. That would be a pretty decent area for me here in terms of our weekly move back up. It would give me some good confidence that the bulls are going to be able to set a new weekly uptrend and potentially start recapturing a lot of this massive drawdown after last earnings, which was good. So as of now, guys, going to take this one day at a time, but I do like the movement on PayPal, offering some very decent risk to reward. I'll remind you, PayPal still all the way back to 2017 prices. So 6-year time machine prices at this point. And now lastly, guys, we're going to get into my portfolio here. So on the portfolio, I don't know why this is very ugly. Interactive Brokers changed their UI, so it's kind of a bit ugly. But today you can see on the day, guys, we're up pretty much 44% on the year as compared to SPY. SPY up pretty much. Oh, this is the SPY at 17.61% here. As of today, SPY was down, right? So this should be around more 17, and we're up to 44, so some decent performance there. And comparatively to the NASDAQ, I really don't like this chart, guys. I'm really sorry. I prefer the line chart, but there's no way for me to change this here. So it's kind of just going to have to deal with that, me too, right? So even on the NASDAQ here, you can see the NASDAQ up about, about 35% here on the day. Still not updated for today's trading here, but you can see that we're outperforming them by about 10% here. So some decent little outperformance here on the day here, coming back nicely on Tesla. And as per the positions here, guys, you will see that I do have a couple new positions on the week here. So firstly, let's get into it. GM 33 puts. Why GM? Well, this came up on my scanner here this morning, and you can see that we did get about 19 cents for credit. So over 0.5% rule, which was very happy about. GM really only because it's been in this nice little range here for the better part of the last year, right? So this area down here, the 32, 33 area is going to be fairly difficult for the bears to crack. Unless they get some really bad news on the stock. But you can see earnings is all the way in October, so I'm not expecting some massive, unforeseen drawdowns in the stock for any which reason. You can see that in the past, this whole area here, $32, $33 has always been a fairly decent area of support going back a few years at this point, right? So that is just why I played it. Really technical play here. If we get assigned, no problem. I will be able to wheel out of it here. Hog as well, Harley Davidson. 33s as well for this Friday, right? So Hog here, you can see that I did get about 15 cents on these. So not quite 0.5%. 0.5% would have been 16 cents, but you kind of get what you take here, right, guys? So very, very close to my 0.5% rule. Harley Davidson, exact same thing. Technical trade here. 33 level is a very beautiful level. You can see on the weekly, it's been holding this level for pretty much February 2021, right? All the way through last year as well, right? So better part of the 2 years that it can hold these ranges. Also support here back in the past. And Harley Davidson really with some no red flags either on GM too, right? These two companies, really nothing bad to say about them per se, right? Price to earnings on Harley Davidson, only 6.43. It does pay a dividend, so fairly, it's not a defensive stock, but it's not an aggressive growth stock that's not making money either. And you can see they are profitable on an annualized basis too, right? And the valuation is quite low on these, right? Price to sales is under 1. So really can't be mad at these guys whatsoever. You can see if you want me to pull up the GMs here as well, right? You can see that GM even price to earnings ratio is fairly low here at about 4.69, right? Pays a dividend, and they are making money. Obviously, they're not growing revenue fantastically on a year-over-year basis, but I really have nothing to be worried about for these plays whatsoever. They're really just average plays. Wasn't able to find any tech plays, but the rest of the market was able to find some decent plays in these. We'll try to see if there's more tomorrow on Wednesday. The Tesla calls are now down ever so slightly, right? The covered calls, right? But the shares are up, making largely up for it here, guys, right? So Tesla on the day, fairly decent day here on the move up. You can see Tesla, we're quickly approaching my break even here. And these calls, I checked the premium. I am able to roll them for about $3 and something per contract, right, into next week. So if ever Tesla maintains these levels, I will roll them, start capturing more and more of our premium. But so far, we got some decent share appreciation, guys. I mean, Tesla last week closed on Friday at about 246. So this little bump up all the way to 256, $10 move. That was pretty much all share movement, right? And we have these covered calls on. Break even on these is 253. So we're kind of in the money on those. And the 257s are still slightly out of the money, but with such a share increase, the premiums on them did increase here. But these are still out of the money. We got the shares back, guys. We're riding Tesla back up, as I said I would. TMF here, TMF still not averaging in 575 or lower. I will be putting in potentially another 100 shares on this. I explained that play last week. 3 times leverage on the bonds here. CSIQ, we are still trapped in our CSIQ. 2801 was the last traded price, right? So CSIQ still not high enough, guys, for me to be writing some options premium. Need to see them as close to my break even at least, right? Our assignment price is 35, but our break even is down to 3209. So if we do start pulling back up here in some solar plays, I expect to get some good recovery on CSIQ, but really like the valuation of this one, guys. Super low, under 5 PE, growing revenue, profitable company. So really not nervous whatsoever. It's not even a big position for me anyways. If we pull back down to 25, I'll be averaging down anyways. PayPal, we're still in. Need to pull them back up to the 66 area to start writing some covered calls. And that's pretty much it, guys. Canadian banks not doing so hot either, right? As well as the US banks, but I have a fairly sizable position here and I get paid monthly dividends that just get reinvested. So this position does grow. If we do stay here in the $18 range, I will even be adding more to that position here. That's just pretty much a liquidity play for me, guys. I like to have some money in that because it provides a very healthy dividend. And it's really a stock that if they start mooning here, I'll be rewarded very healthily. I've been holding this play in this portfolio and my other portfolios all year. So guys, that's pretty much it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking, guys. As always, consider sharing the video as if you're new. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer. So hope you guys had a great day and a great Labor Day. I'll catch you tomorrow after the close. Peace.